What's up, bird nerds? How we doing? Hope everyone is doing good. Sorry, I haven't I haven't gotten any videos out in the last week. You know, life is crazy. It's hard to be a little bit consistent, but I'm hoping to kick this one out to you guys, and then I've got a few others lined up as well. So you can see that my bird says today's Saturday, and I'm cleaning the birds, trying to finish up the breeding cages that I built, get those all decorated. I'm going to be putting nest boxes up in my aviary, and I can show you guys that here in a little bit. So my bird house is a mess. I mean, look at I still got boxes down there, some plants that I'm going to be putting in. The bird cages, they're a mess. So we're going to be cleaning those out. But as I came in to start cleaning this last week, my canaries have really been coming into breeding condition. My females have been playing with nesting material. They've been ripping up some newspaper that I put in there. My males have been singing like crazy. So I just wanted to do a quick video. We're going to do a quick how to breed canaries step by step. And so first step is one, obviously making sure you got a male and female. So we want to make sure you've got both genders. Canaries, it's hard to tell. They're not visually dimorphic, most of them. The mosaic breeds, you can tell visually, males and females for the most part. But all the other canaries, it's not something that we'll turn around. You guys can see the birds and the cages that we've got going. So make sure you got a male and female. Your males sing, and usually they'll sing year round. When they're molting, they don't sing as much, so it may not be as frequent. But when they're in breeding condition, I mean, they sing daily, all day. And then your females, they don't sing, they lay eggs. But when they're ready to breed, they get broody, and they start playing with nesting material. They start looking for nesting sites, things like that. So I got a super small video of one of my mosaic female that's ready to breed. I came in the other day and she was carrying around some feathers in her beak, looking to build a nest. So that was the first sign right there that I knew that she was ready to breed. And then, so I pulled her out, and I'll throw that video in right now. And then I pulled her out and I set her up in the breeding cage, and I'll get to that in a minute. And then same thing, next day, my second female canary, she was playing with the nest material, so I pulled her out. And then today I came in because it's my cleaning day. I have one more female, and I hadn't quite seen a whole lot of activity from her. I wasn't quite sure yet, but I came in and I left a piece of newspaper in there yesterday, and she just went to town on it. She shredded it. She's trying to build a nest in the fake tree you can see here down at the bottom. So we're gonna catch her. You can see her, she's up right there, my red factor female right there. So, and I do have one more red factor male that's in the other aviary, and they've been breeding he's been singing like crazy. So I'm gonna grab her, we're gonna throw her in the nest. And then another sign that I saw that they were ready, especially this female, and I wish I would have got it on video. I tried to, as soon as I pulled my phone up, they stopped. But your males and females, when they're ready to breed and they've accepted each other as a mate, many times they'll feed each other, and the female almost kind of begs like a baby to the male, and he'll feed her. And so I had fed him this morning, and I was looking down on the ground, and my female canary and my male, they were down and they were feeding each other through the wires. So another good sign that your canaries are ready to breed. They've accepted the mate, and they're wanting to get going. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna catch her real quick, and I'm gonna throw in the net in the breeding cages, and then I'll show you the other canaries that I've set up and kind of their progress and where they're at, and get going and kind of give you guys some simple steps of how to breed your canaries step by step. So the first thing is you can breed canaries in an aviary setting. but it's a little bit more difficult. They don't seem to be as consistent. It can be done. I've done it in the past, but I haven't been as successful with them breeding in an aviary. Then pulling them out individually and putting them in a breeding cage, they do way better. So for those out there asking if I've ever bred canaries in an aviary setting, yes, I have. Yes, it can be done. I just have not been as successful with it and or consistent. So take that into consideration if you're thinking of maybe breeding canaries in an aviary setting. Also, if you have multiple pairs together, they'll fight. The males will fight, the females will fight for nesting sites. So they seem to be better and do better solitary in breeding cages. So let me catch them. We'll throw them in the cage and kind of show you what we've got going. All right, guys. So I just got them caught and I threw them in. So I've got my female, she's over here, my male that's over here. So I did literally just barely put them in. And I'm showing you guys this. I still need to give them some food and water. Let me just show you the basics that you need for it. And first of all, when you first introduce your canaries together, usually it's best to have a divider. See that I have a divider in there? So I have my male separate and my female over here. Usually it's best to do that the first few days, just in case if your female's not ready. Many times they'll fight and they'll attack each other. So take that into consideration. If you have the opportunity or multiple cages where you can do this, it would be best. You can see how the male is trying to get to her. He sees her and he's like, oh yeah, there's my girl at. And so he's trying to get over there. Now I have seen them feed each other through the wires. So I already know that they've accepted each other. So I'll remove the divider today, but I just wanted to show you guys that if you're setting canaries up for the first time, you're not sure if they're compatible, put that divider in there and give them some time to get used to each other. When you see them feeding each other through the bars, or the male's singing to her and she's paying attention, or the female is building a nest, then you know that they're in breeding condition and they'll probably accept each other and they'll be good to go. So take that into consideration as far as just setting up your canaries. Many times people get frustrated because their canaries fight when they put them together. And if they're fighting, it means that one of them is not in breeding condition, or the female is wanting a different male. So just take those into consideration as of now. So what you need to successfully breed, so we've got a nest pan here. And so mine just connects to the cage, so you can see there, and it just connects there. And then what I do is I have a little felt lining that I'll put in there. It just helps add cushion for the birds. And then I do have nesting material stuffed up in this. This is I'm trying to remember what this is called. I bought it a long time ago and it came in a huge bulk bag, so I've just had it for so long. But the canaries love it. It's kind of like a small fiber string. I don't know if my camera will zoom in there. No, it's not going to zoom in for you guys. Anyways, so it's just kind of like, and it's short, it's easy, it's manageable. It's really easy for the canaries to use because it is short. They do prefer that. I do also offer, you can see up top here, I do also offer cocoa fiber. I will shred up paper towel and put in there if they would like. But this seems to be their top preference as far as nesting material goes. And it's just really easy for them to maneuver it and build their nests with it because it is in short lengths. Usually with the cocoa fiber, it is best if you cut it because the cocoa fiber comes in pretty long strands. So it is better if you trim those in half, and it makes it just a little bit easier for the birds to use as building nesting material. So you need to make sure you have a nesting pan, and don't use like an enclosed nest box. Canaries do not prefer those. They like the half open nesting pan. So you have these. They have like the wicker basket ones that are just the cup shape that sit on the inside of the cages or in the aviary. I've seen people use coconut shells and they've cut them in half, and the canaries will build on that. So they like the half open nest. So make sure you have those. So you can see my male there. He's getting pretty excited. He can see her up close, wanting to. He's wanting to party. She was kind of in a napping phase when I caught her. She was like, "Oh man, what's going on?" But usually when your females are ready, so if you already see them playing with nesting material and they're, you know, looking for nesting sites, that means they're ready to breed. So I try to wait until I see that with my canaries, and then I'll throw them in the breeding cages. So I did that here. You can see I've got my mosaic pair, and we'll man, my bird shed is such a mess. So let me come over here, and we'll open up this door so you guys can kind of see my mosaic pair a little bit better. So you can see my male is there on the left. You can see he's got a lot more orange on him, and then my female is there on the right. So I put this pair together. It's been 3 days now. And within 3 days, she has fully built her nest. And you can see that today she laid her first egg. So we've got egg number 1 in there with her. So, so she was ready to breed. Many times breeders get impatient. They put birds together and a few weeks go by and nothing happens and they get really frustrated. With canaries, if they are ready to breed, it tends to move fairly quickly. And if they're not, it's okay. Let them get used to each other and hang out. If after probably a month or so, you're not getting any action, they're not building a nest, or your females aren't laying eggs, maybe your males aren't singing, I would separate them again. They're not ready to breed, and it may just lead to fighting and arguing. So I would separate them if they're not breeding. But you can see in 3 days time, she has built her nest and has already laid her first egg. And then if we go up top here, so this is, I really like this pair because my male, he's a crested male, and then the female, she's just a normal brown. She's sitting up in the nest right now. We're gonna look and see. You can see she's sitting in it. I haven't checked to see if she's laid any eggs. So I put this pair together about almost exactly 7 days ago. And it took the female probably 2 days before she really became interested in the nest. And then within a day and a half, she had her nest built. And you can see that she's sitting. So more than likely, she has started to lay eggs. So we'll see. There she goes. Let's see, maybe she hasn't laid any eggs yet. Nope, no eggs yet. But that's okay. You can tell that she's getting a little heavy on her rump, so I probably will be expecting an egg within the next day or two. And she's got her nest fully built. You can see both of my females, they chose this white string. It's like a fiber, it's not even a string. I caution, don't try not to use like the cotton strings, things like that, because they can easily get wrapped around the bird's feet and toes, especially the chicks, and then you end up losing digits and toes because it cuts off the circulation. So try not to use cotton and cotton strings, things like that. This is like a fiber string. It doesn't entangle or wrap around the bird's feet very well. Like, see how I'm like trying to bunch it up and it's just staying pretty straight. So, but the canaries seem to prefer it. You can see both my females chose this one. And I'll put down here with my female that I just put in today. You can see right there. I added one. I'll add a second one with the cocoa fiber and see if she prefers to use the cocoa fiber instead of this white string. But odds are she'll probably choose this one. They seem to enjoy it. So canaries, they lay eggs every other day, or 1 egg a day. Typically 1 egg a day. I've had some females that have gone every other day laying eggs, but they typically lay once a day. Usually it's in the morning, but I have seen that alter a little bit, and some have laid in the afternoons. And then usually about after the third or fourth egg, they'll sit really tight. The thing with canaries is usually once the second egg is laid, the hens will usually start to sit pretty consistently. So there are breeders that will pull the eggs and they'll replace them with dummy eggs until that fourth or fifth egg is laid, and then they'll swap them all out. The goal behind that is that the eggs will all incubate and hatch at the same time. If you don't pull them out, then and the female starts sitting after that second egg is laid, then you have a delay in the hatching. So first chick will hatch one day, and then the next day will be the second chick. The next day will be the third, and that can for the fourth chick that hatches, if he's 4 days behind his siblings, his chances of survival tend to drop just because he's smaller than the other chicks. It's harder for him to beg for food, things like that. So take that into consideration. I personally, I have swapped out the eggs before, but these last few years I haven't done it, and I've had pretty good success with my chicks. I make sure I have more than enough food, and I have pretty good and attentive parents that are ready to, they're in optimal breeding conditions, so they do a really good job at making sure that all of their babies are fed. So that's an option that you guys can do as they're laying eggs. The eggs take typically around 14 days to hatch. You see those birds up there? They really are they're like a pretty cinnamon color. And I just love my male's crest. He just looks like a little goofy boy. He's a baby from last year, so really excited to raise him. And then the female is from my brother, so we threw them together. They have similar colors, and we're gonna try and breed them and see what we can get out of them. So anyways, the chicks typically hatch within about 14 days, and then see my nice pretty male there, and then I feed egg food usually twice a day, especially that first week that the chicks are hatched, and then I usually drop it back and I only feed egg food once a day. And then I also give millet spray, and I have like some song food and molting food that I give the birds as well. Those are just some tips that you can do for egg food. I would recommend egg food as necessary to raise the chicks. My chicks grow twice as quick, and my females bounce back twice as fast if we're providing top-notch healthy foods for them on a daily basis. And it helps them to preserve their calcium levels in their body because they're eating the calcium from the hard-boiled eggs, things like that. So so hopefully those will help you guys in getting your canaries started, and some good tips for you to look for, to know if your birds are ready to breed, if they're not ready to breed, and what to do when you get them together in the breeding cage, the types of nesting materials to offer them, how long it takes for them to lay eggs, how long it takes for them to hatch, egg food for the chicks. So just some simple breeding tips for your canaries and how to breed them. Hopefully you guys enjoy these. Drop some comments below on what more you would like me to elaborate on with the canaries. I will have some more breeding videos coming here in the next couple weeks with my different species that I'm putting together. It is springtime, so we're starting to ramp up the breeding with all of my birds. So it's going to be a fun few weeks and fun next few months, really. So drop some comments below what you guys want me to elaborate more on with the canaries, and what you would like me to be producing as far as breeding videos go with my other species. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.